Okay, mono black control, chromatic black, mastermind control, whatever you want to call it. This deck actually took second place in the last Hoglandi Open. This archetype took second place in the last Hoglandi Open that we had. That notably had Teferi and Reclamation banned in it preemptively, because we're smart. We've added some cards from Amonkhet Remastered here today. Obviously, the big upgrade here is we get to play Thoughtseize in the main, as opposed to playing Agonizing Remorse, so get a cheaper, more efficient discard spell. Other things that we've gained are Cascading Cataracts is a really sweet card to have gained. This allows Golos to search up a land that lets Golos activate itself, which is awesome. So normally, previously we had to have Chromatic Lantern to activate Golos, but now our Golos can just fetch this and then be able to activate himself. We also gained a copy of Ifnir Deadlands here. So this can sacrifice to put 2 -1/-1 counters on something. So it lets us have a black source that also could be a removal spell to search up with Golos, which is nice. As far as everything else goes, there's some question about like what sweepers are you playing? Again, with control decks, you're mostly picking and choosing what you want to beat and what you want to lose to. I've selected our sweepers here to be what I feel is ideal against the aggressive decks in this format. So like the even odd sweeper tends to miss some amount of things that people are playing. In the early turns, you're either getting their 2s or their 3s. You're missing some amount in there, whereas Languish, generally speaking, kills everything that people play in the first 3 to 4 turns of the game. Cry is nice because it exiling things like Ruinous Rider and Priest is really relevant. Cat's not super popular anymore. A lot of those decks have moved away from that. As for, will this deck still be reasonable? I don't know. Control decks tend to be a tough sell early on in a format's development. And between Teferi being banned and Amonkhet Remastered, this format has gone through a huge shift. So let's play some games with this here today and see how it goes. J-Man, thanks for the sub gift. I appreciate that. I'm glad to see we're enjoying Historic. I'm sad to see variety segments get cut down, but I understand they don't pull in as many viewers. Yeah, so variety segments are going to come back next weekend. So generally speaking, my viewer counts on the weekends when we're not doing an open tend to be a little bit lower. So I think Saturday, Sunday, my plan starting next weekend is going to be 1 Magic deck, 1 Runeterra deck variety game for a little bit. We're doing Runeterra at the end of today's stream, save in. And then I'll be back to doing daily Runeterra stuff on Monday. Yeah, it is perfectly fine for people to also broadcast their matches on Twitch for the event tomorrow. I just ask that you also be keeping track of Discord, because if we put you on a feature match, we need you to also broadcast it to Discord still to integrate it properly with our coverage. Easy something that'll take care. It would add extra complexity to the back and forth of what I'm trying to accomplish if we had to switch back and forth between capturing Discord and capturing people's Twitch streams. And the logistics with I'm basically my own producer for those events, so the logistics of like everything I'm doing is already quite a bit. In fact, shout out to my buddy Andrew / Mike Kletz. Without him dedicating his whole day to help us out behind the scenes, we wouldn't have time shifted feature matches. So he spends all day recording time shifteds for us to cover, which is lovely. Yeah, it's actually just it's all listed in the tournament sign-up instructions lintics. It's literally just install desktop Discord though, join a voice channel, click go live. Super easy and straightforward. You just have to pay attention to the announcements channel so that way you know when you're called for a feature. Let's add a command for who's casting the open with me tomorrow, because that's a question that's going to come up a lot, I think. Did they draw Collecting Company? Because they didn't need to shock for that, right? Do I Gonti plus hold Disfigure here, or do I just Golos? Yeah, I feel like it's probably Gonti hold Disfigure. No, Golos puts the land into play tapped. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to attack for 2 there, actually, right? And get my lifelink in. Feels potentially correct. A correct save in. I'm gonna put Grafdigger's Cage into play here. You love to see it, chat. Yikes. Yikes. We could die to the second Mayhem Devil. It might have been right to kill their Goose earlier. Although that would have let them escape the Woe Strider, so like... That's tough. Yeah, I gotta kill... We're gonna kill the Goose this turn. That's definitely happening. The question is, what else am I doing? So we're definitely disfiguring this. But I think it might be... Chromatic Lantern into Gifted Aetherborn. I can also just like Aetherborn into Druid and get the most blockers. Aetherborn into Druid and get the most blockers is probably ideal. Yeah, I'm gonna attack with the Gifted Aetherborn here as well. What kind of win conditions are our deck playing towards? Just like overwhelming card advantage. Ugin. 8 mana Ugin's usually how we win the game. So remember, they can sack these to have... These are forked bolts here. Oh, I guess this lets them kill both my things. But, like, that's probably fine, right? I'll, like, chump block with Paradise Druid. Or if they attack with their Paradise Druid, I will, I'll trade there. Maybe my attack with Gifted Aetherborn was wrong. It's very possible there should be a Radiant Fountain in our deck. They can't escape Woe Strider, chat. There's a Grafdigger's Cage in play. Motley, thanks for the 12 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. I think I'll hold on to this in case they draw a piece of spot removal. Yeah, they probably don't have spot removal in their deck. Just thin the deck out. I want to bog them for good measure, just in case they have a main deck way to get rid of the cage. Just not leave them the out. They can play lands off the top with Citadel still. I think main deck cage is some nonsense. I think having access to cage game 1 with something like Mastermind's acquisition is fine. So there's, and like maybe you could argue that that differential is splitting hairs, but I think it's an important differential. Like, I don't think I'd tell anyone to play main deck cage right now, but I think having access to it like this is definitely powerful. I feel like this is not a Remorse matchup. I feel like just keeping my 4 Thoughtseizes is fine. Arena was pretty good there. I'm gonna trim my Chromatic Lantern, I think. I think I can trim this a little bit more aggressively with Cascading Cataracts now, since Golos can self-enable. The ramp from this is nice, but in matchups where they're a little bit more aggressive, it's not always necessary. Oh yeah, I should board in the cage, right? Because we can get it out of the deck too. That's correct. It's not a wish card. You can also just grab anything. You heard it here. All decks should have main deck Mastermind's acquisition. Yeah, exactly. Easy keep here. Need to draw some lands, obviously, but got an excellent curve with good interaction. Why is Claim in their deck? I just take Rex Sage here? I think I just take Rex Sage, huh? There's an 8 mana card to land. Always. Must be nice. So naturally, they kept a 1-lander on the play and hit, so we're going to keep a 2-lander on the draw and miss, because that's how Magic works. For those of you that are new to the game. You know, I think I'm actually just going to kill this with spot removal. If I miss on the land, I'm going to want to have hit it. And even if I hit the land, then get to cantrip the priest, so I think that's not great for me. And we missed, because magic, but... Oh, I guess Claim takes my Aetherborns, huh? Sure. As you will. We did have Aetherborn to stabilize last game. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm aware they could target their own card, but like having played the opponent's archetype a good deal, this being able to target your own things isn't enough reason to leave it in. I forgot Aetherborn was pretty key in our last game win. That makes sense. We did not play Murderous Rider last game. I think this is too late now. Because they get to sack 3 things and put us to 7. And then they attack us to 4. I think we're probably dead. I think we needed to hit this land by turn 5, not turn 6 here. No, my statement is still true after Eversam. There also have not been... There haven't been a ton of main deck Thoughtseize decks in the format to talk about that, how you don't mulligan, but like, even just earlier today, we played against a black-white Thoughtseize deck. I was like, okay, this hand's kind of medium, but we keep it because you don't really mulligan against Thoughtseize decks. Like, how often that's going to be relevant is going to be dictated by how much main deck Thoughtseize exists in the format. And there could maybe be... Yeah, what Lawyer said. They're not... Those things aren't mutually exclusive. Like, Thoughtseize doesn't have to be an omnipresent card in the format for it to, like, punish people for making decisions or, like, remove decisions from the games, right? It's just if it's not omnipresent, it's not happening constantly. Which you could then argue makes it not much of a problem, but, you know, still details. Opponent was setting up for the turn 3 combo kill there, potentially, so I'm gonna nip that right in the bud. What's the combo? They cast Bolas' Citadel and then play Mayhem Devil and Most Rider out and kill you. I think I'm fine with this getting Rex-Saged. I think there could be merit to holding this and just not playing anything next turn, and then just, like, using Golos to bait the Rex-Sage. Could potentially be correct. If the opponent is playing the variation of this archetype that Croakies was playing, I believe Forest was the only basic land in the deck. So, let's find out. I want to swamp either way, and they don't play many utility lands. Cataracts is shining because it's indestructible. I'm gonna leave this in the tank. I think I want to get card advantage out of this while it's guaranteed. My sideboard really doesn't accomplish much here, right? I'm just grabbing a couple of things out of the main deck. Let's grab, like, backup Golos here. Yeah, I think you're right, Petty. Okay, so they can Citadel here. Why I don't do limited formats. Limited just doesn't... Limited isn't Magic in a way that I enjoy playing Magic. The way that you're able to build and iterate on decks throughout a constructed format is what I'm really looking for. And that's true too. The reason why the chat's open right now is because of the raid promotion. So if you check that out on PC using my link and play through the tutorial, you can get a sub gifted to you as a thank you for that. We could die here. Like, this is why their deck is good. We could die. This is why I got a backup Ugin, by the way. Is Leyline Sanctity a playable sideboard card against Junsack? I mean, despite Reclamation Sage, I think it's definitely a playable card. Like, too often, people just want their sideboard cards to be like, okay, the game is over, my opponent can't win anymore. And that's just, like, not how reasonable decks tend to play out. That's super unfortunate. Yeah, honestly, Thorbrand, I think you're correct. I think having another cage in the 75 is probably right, and we'll make that change after this. I think I agree with your conclusion. Do I want to bog them or do I want a castle? What am I getting with Mastermind's acquisition? What's the best champion to choose the first one, Raid? Definitely the Wizard. If you enjoy Raid's gameplay, and I play it a lot, it's a lot of fun, in my opinion. And you wanna poke at it a little bit, Kale the Wizard's definitely the strictly best option. So, I don't have a Lantern in play, right? So... Oh, I could get Field of Ruin to take them off a land again. That's kind of a funny idea. I think I'm just gonna go get my third Golos here as a backup. Speaking of, Spartan the Red, thanks for taking the time to check out the sponsor. Appreciate it. I don't know if I want the Fountain. Non-black lands come at a real cost. Like, there'd definitely be some utility in some spots. I don't know. I feel like I could go either way. Well, Urborg doesn't help, right? Because Urborg, our thing that cares about swamps explicitly cares about basic swamps, which is why we can't play shock lands. Yep. We'll take some counters off of this. It'll get exiled. Honestly, I think I want Gilded Goose to make food with. I think gaining 3 life is our best route to victory here. Yeah, I agree. I think this is a solid upgrade. Letting this card be self-enabling feels huge. Not having to keep Citadel in play. Thanks, Grumpy. I'm gonna attack before I play these out, so that way if they collected company, I can kill their things in combat. This does not cast ultimatums for you, no. It adds 1 mana of each different color. Oh, you know what? I sheet this food in response. Because I can get a Mayhem Devil there. Oh, it does say any combination of colors. Okay, so this lets us cast Mardu Ultimatum then, right? Yeah, this casts Mardu Ultimatum. It does not cast Jeskai. Come on, chat. I'm playing Magic. You expect me to read? Dude Cab, thanks for checking out the raid sponsor and playing through the tutorial. Appreciate it. Okay. Did we just die? Good lord. Two, 1. We're exactly dead. No, we're exactly dead. Yeah, we shit talked their claims. Yeah, and they had all 4 of them. Is that all 4 of them? It was all 4 of them. Yeah, don't even just pick your draws, pick your collected companies too, huh? That's true. That's true. We're more than dead because of the arena. I mean, I wouldn't have fetched Radiant Fountain at any point this game. So like Radiant Fountain doesn't change that loss. Like maybe if I'm playing around maybe if I'm playing around like I'm never playing around that, right? Like it was literally collected company into Sack Outlet Blood Artist, into untap Mayhem Devil, double claim the Firstborn. Like, I don't think any of my plays are wrong there. Like, the permutation of things that have to happen in order to lose from that spot is incredible. Yeah, like anybody saying that we should play around the sequence that just happened there, like, you're gonna lose way more games. Yeah, you just, like, you can't play around, like, 4 cards, one of which gets them 2 perfect cards. If anything, pressuring their life total, I was gonna put in another cage. I'll write down second cage so I don't forget that. I don't want Radiant Fountain. Radiant Fountain is silly. I want a second cage. I mean, like, again, I discourage people from saying things like the most played decks in the format. Listen, I get it. I get it that it's Croaky's most played deck, and most people spend all day watching streamers, but, like, a deck being Croaky's most played deck doesn't make it the most played deck in the format. Don't make claims that should be substantiated with data based on your feelings. Don't use anecdotes when you should be using objective data. It's okay to be like, we just don't know. Normalize the idea of saying, I don't know. Like, I think the deck is fine, and it could potentially be one of the best decks in the format, given time to generate results. But there's by no means enough information in a format that's a day and a half old to know that. Huh. No, I don't think Blast Zone's very good against Sacrifice. In fact, I think Blast Zone's merit against the Sacrifice deck went way down when they cut the cat, if they're cutting the cat oven package. Am I crying this turn? I think I'm crying this turn, right? It's just like cry plus bog. We cry every turn against goblins. Come on! Oh, it is not our morning for mono black, chat. It is not our morning. Do I have anything here? Like, I guess I could get a removal spell for this and then not be dead on board. But like they have Ramanap runes and we're like taking 5. I can get to not dead on board, but I don't know that we're gonna get to winning the game. Oh, Heartless Act's on my sideboard. That's fine, I can disfigure it. You're good, Ken X, thank you. Sorry, I missed it. It just popped up. Appreciate you. Alright, Languish, please. You cut the Agonizing Remorse against most aggressive things. Gonti's an okay blocker. Virulent Plague's not good enough to board in, I don't think, because if their draw doesn't involve Krenko, it doesn't do anything. The peak Twitch chat is losing to a game to Krenko and then immediately being like, I want Virulent Plague against their deck, but a lot of their draws don't involve Krenko, and you can't afford to draw this when it doesn't have text. If we have Mastermind's Acquisition, we can fetch it out of the sideboard. Oh yeah, Reckoning. Boarding in the miscellaneous sweepers is fine. How much of my card advantage do I want to trim? Probably a lot of it. Phyrexian Arena is pretty tough to get going. Ugin's really good here, but it's very slow. That's not true, Tuku. Mastermind's Acquisition gets you cards out of your main deck, too. That's why we board in things like Cage. Nah, I like the Worm. I think it's fine. I think there's a lot of board states where I'm happy to draw Worm. Yeah, more main deck Ringleaders and best of 3 Goblins is smart. I think Ringleader helps the Goblins decks in the matchups that are hard. So they sack that, which means my thing goes away, but it also means that I don't lose 2 life, so like it's just like murder. Hard to be too upset about that. We just kill the Snoop here for it's less resource efficient than playing Gonti, but denying them card advantage seems important here. These are actually just the same card to me, right? Need to draw Cage or Mastermind's acquisition here to lock them out of Muxus. Thoughtseize also reasonable, I suppose. They could be debating getting something that isn't Thoughtseizable. Interesting. Yeah, so they're getting Ringleader, so that way they can just, like, sack this, and these two and cast Ringleader. I think I want to kill Prospector here, right? It makes the rest of their stuff worse. And if I kill Prospector, my Murderous Rider gets to live after I kill Krenko. Nice of you to describe a match of Magic the Gathering, Eddie. With the lifelink here, I just want to keep pressuring them, especially with the Wurm drawn. Have a good chance. Have a chance to just kill them next turn. So, any land but Bojuka Bog lets us cast Wurm next turn. Alright, gotta fade for one turn, chat. One brick. Can we do it? Dirk Dastardly, thanks for checking out the raid sponsor and playing through the tutorial. Appreciate it. Have you heard about my worm? I said a worm. Worm's the word. I said a worm. You know, talking about Radiant Fountain, I don't think I want to cut a swamp for Radiant Fountain, but something that could be a consideration is I might want a 26th land in this deck. We're playing Chromatic Lanterns, so like, we're like 25's kind of okay, but it might be right. Is it crazy with the Cataract to like cut Lantern? Hey, Danilino, thanks for checking out the raid sponsor and playing through the tutorial. Drop me a DM to let me know if you'd like a gifted sub or to bump something in the queue. Okie doke. It's not a lot, but it's what we've got. Alright, lands for the next 3 draws, please. That'll do, pig! Nah, I think I'd rather cut Lantern. A Ginger Wookie! Thanks for checking out the raid sponsor. Appreciate it. Don't Phyrexian Tower me, please. Okay. Oh, fuck, it does. Oh, I totally forgot Creator Maker kills Cage. Alright, I want to change the deck anyways. I don't care. Made a whoopsie poopsie. I think I want a Radiant Fountain. I think I want a 26th land, and I think with the 26th land, I want it to be a Radiant Fountain. I think I definitely want a second Cage. I want to cut this. Like, drawing 5 cards is really good a lot of the time. I would love to play God-Fearer's Gift again, Zero Sugar. You could submit any deck you'd like to see played for the stream by following the directions there. Cataract is mana deficient, right? It does take 1 extra, yeah. It costs 8 to activate this, but that's fine. I feel like we should already be good against Mopey midrange / control, so I don't really want to add more cards for that matchup. I don't know. Maybe if you're cutting the Jeskai Ultimatum, but like Ultimatum's like a card that's like fine against aggro on occasion. Like really dunks them. Yeah, the gain 5 is often relevant. Wish we knew what kind of deck they were playing. So we'll get our rematch here against Jund. Saying that the removal spell we have to pay X for is good against aggro when we have to pay 4 to tutor it seems like a stretch. Like almost anything's good against aggro at that stat. I think that's the one. Good chance this hits something before their hand's empty. We got 3, maybe even 4 spells here. Being able to tag their Citadel before they can cast it is really nice. I'm going to keep pressuring their life total here because, you know, Citadel uses their life total, so any chip shots that you can get in is valuable. The deck bumps are for decks that are already in the queue to card cruise. The only way to add a new deck to the queue with shillings is by hitting Shillionaire status. Especially at set release times like this, it becomes hard for me to keep up with the queue as is, so... Beansy said that they're on track to hit Shillionaire by the end of tomorrow's stream, I believe. Assuming the open lasts for at least 8 hours, I think they said. They plan to hit it tomorrow. Oh, I'm dumb. Oh, no, wait. This isn't a Mayhem Double Trigger. It's Blood Artist. Just waiting on a payoff here on both sides. I think our deck probably has more payoffs in it than theirs at this point, though. Like, they're mostly waiting for Citadel or Company. We have the Tutor, we have Golos, we have Ugin. Oh, we're 1 mana off of Ugin, though, right? Why do they do that? I think they might have missed that Gonti had Death Touch. It is a newer card. Nailed it. I think I'm supposed to get Castle here, so this way if they have a way to kill Golos. This is game 1, right? So we Cage. Hey, congrats, right? So Cage not only stops their collected companies, but also stops them from playing non-lands with what's it called? With Citadel. I think they scryed a card to the top, so like, what'd you keep? They about to learn how Cage works? Yes. In paper Magic, you are allowed to look at your sideboard while you play. Arena lacks that capability. Because Arena is a piece of software that is incomplete in many ways. Moto only lets you do it because I spent years complaining about it. It took years to get that feature on Magic Online. Moto's old enough to vote, chat. You gotta remember that. Alright, so Disfigure seems good. Heartless Act seems fine. I feel like this might not be a Thoughtseize. I don't know. I guess tagging their Citadel before it happens is good. Trim Gonti. Trim 1 Lantern. I wonder if Trump would let Moto vote by mail. That depends. Is Moto registered in a red state or a blue state? How likely is Trump to win the state that Moto's registered in? No, not at all, Ugin. Tools like Untapped are simply providing you with information you could be manually tracking by hand. They're perfectly acceptable for tomorrow. Wait. They left me Languish and then played another creature out? Friendo. I saw post boxes being removed. Is that real? It is real. The Trump administration is currently in the process of sabotaging the entire postal system in the United States because sabotaging the postal system is the easiest way to suppress people from voting during a pandemic. And to their credit, the Trump administration and the GOP are not just doing their best to dismantle voting by mail, they're doing their best to dismantle voting in every facet possible. So, like, they're also gerrymandering and removing polling sites and, like, closing random ones, changing hours. You get Spark Double as alternative to Vizier. It's much worse. You want to be able to actually escape that card on occasion. And remember, we board the cages in. So, cages are in the main deck game 1 or game 2. That is a uniquely good card, huh? That's gonna hurt. Do I have any way in my 75 to take this off the table? The city I grew up in, they're holding voting in a retirement home. Yeah, that's pretty typical during normal times. Is this deck able to hit Mythic 1200 plus? Anything's able to hit Mythic 1200 plus if you believe in yourself. All it takes is a 51% win rate in time. Yep. Yep. There are lots of great voting systems. What you need to understand is there's an entire political party in the United States that's doing their best to make there not be democracy. They don't want people to vote. They have no interest in hearing your new and different ways to allow people to vote. They just don't want it to happen. Yeah, Radiant Fountain gives us a turn. I don't know that we necessarily have outs to draw to, but it certainly gives us a turn. They missed a point of damage by not sacrificing their thing to the tower. Oh, Ugin. Yeah, Ugin's an out. I forgot about him. So that means Masterminds is an out too. I think I have enough mana with the Citadels to Ugin plus. 2 shots. Feels magic, man. It's fine. We get game 3. Get him game 3 on the plate, chat. No, it paused for them moldy locks. It literally paused to give them priority. No, there has to be spells in the yard for Clothis to exile. I'm excited to never draw a 3rd land and die. Center tapped? No, it doesn't, right? Sweet. Fordle, thank you for the 11 months and for the very generous tier 3. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Who's got 2 thumbs is gonna get combo killed. This guy right here. So if they had Citadel, they could have cast it last turn, right? So we know they didn't have it. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shugdam, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. You're supposed to attack with Aetherborn and force them to sack. They probably want to sack it anyways, though, so like... So we're at 6 mana, so if I draw an untapped land, I can activate Golos. Three shots at a sweeper. How crazy is it to just get a land? I have 2 Ugins rolled up. I think I'm just getting a land. I think it's just like land cage go. I got you, Dead Knight. And then pretty sure since they missed on Citadel, we're supposed to go cage plus activate this turn. Oh, I should have waited to play the land, obs, if I was gonna do this. So could have had an extra land here, but don't. Yeah, I feel like this matchup is pretty okay for us. We have a lot of good tools for it. Like having access to 2 cages feels super reasonable. Yeah, really pretty exceptional. In the last match we lost to it. The games we're losing are close, and the games we're winning, we're running them down. No, I haven't, Chad Beam. Usually decks that are more popular don't get played on this channel. There's plenty of people that other folks, people that want to go watch best decks, there's plenty of places for them to go to do that. My hand kind of sucks, so I'm actually just going to take their Narset. Thoughtseize away, friendo. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, the majority of the decks that we play here are viewer submissions. And people who want to watch someone play, you know, best deck spike deck can go do that for free on channels like Croakies. Our shtick is variety. We're up like Galactic Companies and Zombies after this. Watching one deck all day gets boring. Different strokes for different folks. There's a reason why Croaky's stream is one of the most watched on Magic. The most watched on Magic. Like, not close margin. Like, his average viewer count these days dwarfs even Caleb, who had previously held that title. That's 2 to 3K. Never answer a question that you can answer with objective data by using your feelings. Groki's average viewer count is 2,600 people. 2,671 the last 7 days. 90 days is probably a better forecast. 2,649 for the last 90 days. It's a good sample size. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with enjoying lots of different content. There's a ton of people that make a ton of great stuff. It's not some kind of contest. His success in no way diminishes what I do here, or vice versa. Yeah, breaking 2K on a card game's insane. He's like a mid-size real streamer. Like when you look at like the big streamers from like all games, when you compare like things like real esports, like things like Valorant and League of Legends, like 2,500 is like about where you are in big streamers and other games. Not like 0% here, but we're dead enough that I'm gonna concede. What's going on, CO? Yeah, I mean, every non-standard format is a Thoughtseize format. That's just how Magic works. It's been that way for a while. $2K is barely top 10 for Hearthstone. So Hearthstone's hard to judge because Hearthstone has Battlegrounds streaming in the same category as Hearthstone. So like before, maybe Hearthstone during its prime was above 2K for an average, but like actual factual Hearthstone hasn't been that high in a little while. There isn't a way for me to quickly pull out like what's an objective measure for Hearthstone because they're all mixed up in the data. The genre of game that Battlegrounds is, the auto battlers, is just easier to get into than something like a card game, especially when there are card games like Magic or Hearthstone that are like incredibly predatory and expensive to get into. Nah, that's you taking the facts. That's you taking the facts and fitting them to your narrative, Mox Mulder. If that really had a bearing on anything, none of Blizzard's products, all of Blizzard's products would be floundering. I'd encourage you to separate your feelings from reality.
Focus and discipline encounter no with thoughtfulness before action. Still have much to learn.
Yeah, Hearthstone was hemorrhaging viewers long before the whole Hong Kong thing. How long am I going to be on for today? We're going to do one more Magic deck after this, so probably another 2 hours of Magic, and then I plan to do hour and a half of Runeterra to wrap things up. It's another 3 to 4 hours. I think I'm just casting 5-mana Thoughtseize here. Yeah, obviously I won't be doing Runeterra. I won't be doing Runeterra every, I won't be doing Runeterra tomorrow, but I plan to go back to like one Runeterra deck a day starting Monday. Swole Squirrel is sweet. The League of Legends IP is so fantastic. Battlegrounds is paywall now. $20 for a pass or 2,500 gold. Interesting. It's paywall to get perks. Okay, that sounds more correct. You can play for free. The problem here is they're eventually going to get to Yori and blink these and probably just bury us in cards from there. They might be waiting till they can grab Yorion and play it in the same turn, though. Nope. Alright, Thoughtseize, please. Boop. It's the most amount of gold you've ever saved. Like 200? I had like 200k at one point. But that was before they started letting us doing daily deals. Their daily deals are doing their job. I'm spending my gold on foils. We aimed to please, didn't I? I'm going to prioritize keeping my health total high here. This also lets me get an attack with lifelink, so that way I can start leveraging this Castle Locthwain to hopefully get back in the game with some card advantage. Do I stream gold farming MTG Arena? No, I just literally just play the ladder matches and do my dailies. Oh, that's gotta be wrong. Because this is going to make my things cost 2 more. It's been almost a week without spoilers. When do Zendikar spoilers start again? It's funny because it's true. Can we get rid of Gifted Aetherborn here so I can Ruinous Ultimatum next turn? Yeah, I think we exile the Aetherborn so I can cast this.
Sorry, I've no time for a break.
I don't know. If I'm being honest, Historics like feels good enough right now that like if Wizards of the Coast wants to go screw up Standard again, I kind of don't care. Like, Standard being a giant steaming pile of crap. They boarded an Aether Gust against my mono black deck. Sure. Magic 2020, chat. Historic's been reasonable enough that like even if Standard stays foobarred, like looking at the results of Standard tournaments, I don't think I'm playing Standard until rotation. I was leaving it up in the air, but like looking at the SCG tournament from today and like some of the Red Bull events, like I think I'm just gonna wait for Nissa to rotate and just like call it a day. Standard 2021's a made-up format that's going to go away, and spending time making content for a format that's quickly going to disappear is, generally speaking, a bad investment of my time. Maybe if the historic deck queue stops being full, I'll consider playing Standard 2021. But I have a feeling that we're going to keep standard historic decks piled up until rotation happens. Like rotation is 4 weeks away. Oh, the 2021 queue is only best of one? Nah, screw that noise. Off it. I don't have any plans to ever play Standard on Arena again as long as Historic isn't accessible. I agree, Aetherwild, and you're probably not the only one with those types of feelings. Probably not the only one. Watsy, the play rate of Standard 2021 is super low, which tells us people love War of the Spark, so we're gonna push rotation back for another year. Oh, it's funny. Hey, Mithron Rudo, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Why does drafting cost money? Everything costs money. The constructed players just pay that money up front instead of slowly over time. Yeah, I agree, Fight Me. Once we get Pioneer Masters, the format's really gonna have great texture. I feel like Pioneer Masters will likely be like a stabilization point for this format. That'll be like the last time the main players in the format all get makeovers. I expect a number of the decks that are playable right now will still be playable and will just get upgrades, but that'll be like the last like big injection of like new things being added, I would assume. Harsh but fair. We're gonna die to this ass cancer, aren't we? Doing multiple Pioneer Masters. Yeah, I mean, not every card in Pioneer is gonna get introduced immediately. But I would imagine the first injection will change the texture of the format the most rather than subsequent ones, would be my estimation. I think Jumpstart or Amonkhet has / will have a bigger impact on his story. I think that's a question that isn't really meaningful to answer, so why bother? Can I say neither and banning Wilderness Reclamation and Teferi was the biggest impact? Am I allowed to do that? Get censored again here and concede. Why won't you answer questions that require time travel to answer? It's a big eternal question, isn't it? See if we can draw our other Ugin here. I found out Pact Litigation is legal in this format. I found it out when my opponent cast it turn 2. Well, they're about to learn something. Good games, Equinox. Good luck in the rest of your laddering adventure. I think I'm boarding in Massacre Wurm is just a big silly beater. Well, they can't hold up negate next turn, so I think I'm just taking their Narsets here.
I shall miss your company. This was overwhelming.
Just install the game using the link Equinox, play through to the tutorial, and then after your name pops up in the corner saying that it's done, drop me a DM, and I'll gift you a sub at the end of the stream. Because that's me personally manually gifting subs. That's something the sponsor does automatically. I appreciate the folks that do that. We might actually clear our 175 goal today. I mean, mopey slow decks like ours are like what Grixis is actually reasonable against, right? It's like decks that like put pressure into play. Like Grixis is actually super reasonable against other mopey control decks. Sub 5 minutes if you click quickly, Caboose Man. If you click slowly, up to 10 minutes. We're just getting a Doomblade here, right? So I'm gonna go up to 11 and then down to 6. Should probably get Vraska's Contempt and not Murderous Rider. Yeah, Whispers are DMs. And if you're having trouble DMing me, you can click me. Click my name there. Oh god, they're gonna get to reanimate my Massacre Wurm. All the support cards seem really sweet. Shen was one of my favorite champions in... Shen was one of my favorite champions in Runeterra already. So excited that he's getting more support. So I'm definitely adding this deck to the website. It's been fine enough the last couple of times we play it. I think I'm going to end it up in the fan favorite section of the website. This deck's very, very good against things like Goblins, and it's good against the Citadel, the Jund Citadel deck, and the Collected Company decks. It's really good against the creature decks. It really struggles against other control decks. Those last two matches, I think, went about how I would expect those matches to go on average, and I don't know that you can really meaningfully change that without restructuring the deck a good bit to make your creature matchup worse. And to highlight here for a moment why those matchups are so bad, if we take a second and I pull all my cards, over here, if I look at this, I've got what, almost 10 cards here in my main deck that are just not great in the control matchups. And even some of these aren't amazing either. Yeah, I think this deck has a very reasonable blue-white auras matchup. Between your sweepers and your disfigures and your extinction events and your Ugins at the top end, and Thoughtseize, discard spells are actually really good in that matchup. Yeah, and I think you could retool some of your things. Something some people have talked about that I don't think is completely unreasonable. A lot of your control matchups tend to go a little bit long. I could see it being correct to just play a couple of Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, in your sideboard to board in and to Mastermind's Acquisition for in game 1 on occasion, just because you do go long and get big. I think Grixis will still give you a little bit of a harder time because they have things like Nicol Bolas to pressure you early, but the Yorion, Esper, Jeskai decks, I do think Ulamog's probably your best tool to reach for there, so fitting some number of these in could be a way to give you some play there, but I do think it's still going to be challenging even if you have access to some number of this card. We've not played against Doors at all today, actually. I think that archetype's very reasonable, but it's not everywhere. All right, at any rate, we're going to do a third Magic deck today. Lots of great things to get through in only so little time. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll, get everything set up and flipped over. And when we get back, we are going to collect a company into some zombies. So be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.